So this is really an important event for you to provide feedback. So we will offer a link in the chat. Gigi will do that shortly and throughout the event. This is a free event by intention and by nature so that you can provide feedback to these amazing founders. They do these pitches all day, every day, and it's really, really important and valuable, especially for those in the room like you, Tammy, who have had so much background and experience, like you, Emily, Tim. Like there's so many of you that have had so much background and experience in this world. If you can provide a few notes to each of the founders, that would be super grateful and super helpful. Thank you to our board of advisors. We couldn't do this without each and every one of you. I see a few of you in the room. Thank you for being with us in this exciting journey. And of course, we have a new sponsor. I'm so excited. Bennett Thrasher is our new sponsor. Emily, are you going to be the one doing the little welcome spiel? Let me unmute and let you have the room. Can you unmute, Emily? Can you hear me? You want to do a little intro? It's like that moment where you're like,
Did
I
it
forget
work?
the computer.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes. Welcome.
Perfect.
Thank you for your partnership.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. Great to meet everyone. My name is Emily Ackerman, and as Laurel said, I am a new mom, literally been 2 months. And so if I look a little tired, that's why I'm normally more makeup. But when I'm not on maternity leave, I lead business development for Bennett Thrasher. We are a large CPA firm in the United States, but work with, as you said it, founders and funders just like yourselves. It doesn't matter if you are just getting started with your company or if you are over multi-billion public. We have worked all shapes and sizes, whatever industry, as long as you're not in cryptocurrency. Truly, we can touch anything as long as you're not cryptocurrency. But we're a full service firm. The only things that we don't offer for our clients is we don't have wealth management. And we are not an investment bank. And we really want to work with the right partners outside of our firm for our clients and our friends. But if you need tax assistance, if you need basic bookkeeping and CFO work, if you need auditor review work done, and as you keep growing and growing, if you're needing quality of earnings, if you want to buy or sell a business, we can help you with that. I feel like if there's anything in the accounting world, I can just kind of say yes to everything as long as it's not crypto, wealth management, or investment banking. But my job is to connect people all day for a living and work with people like you all day just to help get y'all really rich and get y'all in front of people that you need to meet, whether it's with my company or externally. But really glad to be here and be a part of this. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Emily, and congratulations. I've
Thank
seen the
you.
pics, just beautiful.
Yes.
As are each and every one of you. I'm seeing all the faces. Hey, Mark, welcome. Lots of exciting people here. Okay, so it is time to get into it. If you want to rename your company, add your company name in your little box so that we know who you are as a pitcher, that would be great. Cindy, I know you're going to go first. So if you could rename with your company name so people know who you are, that would be fantastic. The format is very simple. I think this is our fifth, Gigi. It's our fifth pitch event.
I think
Amazing.
it's in sixth.
Sixth pitch event. We have six founders. It's a 10-minute pitch and a 10-minute QA. If you are shy, feel free to ask your questions in the chat. If you are not, you can raise your hand or unmute. I will call upon you to make sure that you are providing really valuable feedback to these amazing founders. We'll take a stretch break after the third founder because sitting is slowly killing us all. And I hope that we'll have a lot of fun. Cindy, are you ready?
Yes, I am ready. And thanks everybody for joining. I actually really like pitching, which is so weird. Nobody likes it, but I
Too.
like
There's
it.
something
So here
about the
we go.
adrenaline, right?
Yeah, so let me just share my screen.
All right,
This is
now we're seeing you clear. Take it away.
okay, I'm going to start all over.
Go
Cindy
for it.
Cadbury, I founded Pure Wild, which connects evidence to results for healthy aging and better athletic performance. 37% of the US population suffers from joint pain. Last year, $9 billion was spent on joint replacement surgery, and joint replacements are on track to increase 200% in just the next 6 years. It's kind of an epidemic. 42% of people who get joint replacements are athletes, and in sports, joint pain and joint injuries are the most common cause of poor athletic performance and early retirement. The National Institute of Health studies have proven that taking collagen regenerates cartilage and decreases joint pain. And that's why I started the company. 8 years ago, I had serious knee pain from years of exercise to the point where 3 surgeons recommended a knee replacement. But I set out to absolutely avoid surgery. After 4 months of taking collagen, I was back in the gym. Today, my knee functions at 90% capacity with no surgery. I bought a new pair of skis last year, I'm not kidding. And I attended Le Cordon Bleu cooking school in Paris and worked at Michelin-starred Chez Panisse restaurant in Berkeley when I was a student at Berkeley. So I made the drink recipes in my kitchen as a delicious way to get a dose of creamery and collagen. And what I learned is that most collagen products are made from cows. It's bovine collagen, boiled hooves and hides. It's not a clean product, to say the least. It's unsustainable, bad for the environment, hard to absorb, and causes side effects like constipation. Pure Wild uses wild marine collagen. It's the most bioavailable, sustainable, clean, and effective collagen product. Our products are formulated specifically to support joint health and recovery. That's our focus. We started in my kitchen in 2021. Today we have national distribution, proven sales in 5-star hotels like Hyatt and Marriott, proven sales in medical facilities like City of Hope and Orlando Health Hospitals, and proven sales in sports with U.S. Olympic trainers, Detroit Lions Training Camp, Patagonia, Rafa Cycling, all looking to improve performance and reduce pain with collagen. The Detroit Lions found us through our distributor. We didn't go after that account. They found us because the trainers were actively looking for a collagen solution, but we're currently packaged in glass bottles, so they can't continue to order, which led us to create a gym-friendly aluminum bottle. We're launching this product specifically to target teams and trainers, and the responses from our hotel accounts show that our hotels also prefer aluminum to reduce breakage. 75% of athletes experience joint pain. High-performance trainers and sports nutritionists have proven they want products like Pure Wild to reduce joint pain for better performance. Our team has contacts to sell directly into Thunder Basketball, Angel City Soccer, Energy Soccer, the Milwaukee Brewers, University of Southern California Athletics, and our advisor, Mark Pitts, was the chief operating officer of the Tampa Bay Lightning hockey team, opening the door to the NHL. In the big picture, 34% of our population is over the age of 50. That's 117 million people who control 54% of all consumer spending. 77% of this demographic, 90 million people, have identified healthy aging as a top concern. They can afford and they want healthy aging products. Healthy aging is a $400 billion market. Sports is a $500 billion market. And we have the opportunity to capture sizable market share in this total $900 billion market with a proven differentiated product. Our traction to date is just beginning. We have a lifetime revenue of $1 million. 2021 and 2022 were about creating the product and setting up distribution. 2023 and 2024, we're adding new accounts, proving product and market fit, and seek the direction for profitability. E-commerce in 2023 was 14% of our total revenue with no ad spend. And that's significant because e-commerce comes from Instagram, Facebook, and Google ads. It doesn't just happen organically. In 2024, Q1, 20% of our total revenue came from e-com with no ad spend. And our data showed that it came from hotel accounts where guests experience Pure Wild and continue to order online after they check out of the hotel. That means as we grow our hotel accounts, we can predict a halo effect of an additional 15 to 20% in e-com revenue with no onerous ad spend. 2023 and 2024 showed us that profitability lies in direct sales to hotels and direct sales to teams and trainers. My goal is to eliminate third-party costs and distribution costs, which that's the problem that kills consumer brands at my level. Pure Wild is also certified Native American woman owned. I'm a member of the Choctaw Nation, and I created social impact by selling directly to tribes and discovered another profitable channel because I ship pallets directly to tribes and don't pay distribution fees. We're also the first Native woman-owned wellness brand in major medical facilities. which resonates with our customers because they respond to that personal component. With just 3 years in business, we've only raised $625,000 to get where we are. We have 65% year-over-year revenue growth. Our margins are 50%. We're targeting a 15 to 20% improvement on our margins as we scale. And our revenue for 2024 would have hit 100% year over year, but we ran out of inventory and we turned down hundreds of thousands of dollars of orders, which was not fun. But now I'm back and we're raising $750,000 on a $4.5 million valuation through a special purpose vehicle. It's a convertible note with a minimum check size of $50,000 and it offers a 20% discount for any follow-on investment. We have a lead investor who's done the due diligence and committed 20% to the round. And the funds will be used to create product and grow sports and hospitality accounts and create revenue. As I said, I'm a member of the Choctaw Nation. My mother was born in the rural, very rural Choctaw Nation in a house with no indoor plumbing. She grew up in a food desert. I know what healthy food means to people. Pure Wild is certified Native woman owned, and we hold Indigenous values at our core, meaning that all of our actions affect the well-being of future generations. Our customer testimonials are from Alan Scher, president of the Spa Industry Association, with a 60,000 member spa list that we can leverage. Carrie Soderbeer, one of the top spa directors who helped us launch into 5-star hotels. Rafa Cycling, Patagonia. I'm happy to say that Alice Waters is a fan because I work for her. And our Olympic trainers texted me last week asking when we will be back in stock. And I said, I hope soon. As I mentioned, I'm a graduate of University of California, and I worked as a consultant for marketing for Warner Brothers and Disney for over 20 years. So I have experience in marketing and sales. Ryan Giunta was with Red Bull for 11 years. So he has incredible connections in hospitality and sports. Mark Pitts has been with me since the beginning. Mark was in the C-suite at Coca-Cola for 22 years in bottling. He knows everything about bottling anything. And he was COO of Tampa Bay Lightning for 4 years, so he has incredible beverage and sports expertise. Paige Jernigan is a former analyst who's advising on investment and financials. And our attorney is Ryan Lewendon. Ryan led the sale of Body Armor to Coca-Cola for $5.7 billion. Ryan knows this space. So I hope you'll join me to unlock this transformational and robust market to support healthy aging and healthy athletes.
Fantastic. Well done. What a way to kick us off, Cindy. Thank you so much. Of course, Mark raised his hand first. Mark, we missed you on the last one. You always ask great questions. Go ahead, take the floor.
Thank you. Yeah, so I was traveling last time. First
Don't
of all,
forget.
Mitch, loved it. One major question for me, though, is how does your product compare to the competition in terms of pricing? You know, my wife does a lot of collagen, probably even that canister that you showed is what we have in our closet. But how do you compare competitively from a pricing standpoint?
We're very competitive. It's actually very early days in the collagen market. The Vital Proteins that I referenced in my deck was the first product to launch into the collagen space with the lesser expensive bovine packaged in plastic. And it's not effective. So what we're learning is that consumers, as they become more educated, are looking for products that actually work. Right now, our retail price per bottle is $5 a bottle. And so, you know, as we improve our margins, hopefully we'll be able to raise the price. But with the consumer grocery market the way it is, I just held firm on the price. So we're very competitive.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. Nancy, go for it.
Hi, Cindy. Thanks for a very good presentation. I really want to get your product. It sounds great. I like the way you break down how you're going to spend the money, but what I really want to find out about that 750,000 is what is that going to translate to? Is that going to mean X dollars of sales more? How long will that money last? What is your burn rate?
Our burn rate is super low because I got rid of all of our expenses. You know, I mean, our burn rate is like $10,000 a month. That 750 should translate to 12 months. And what I want to do is build 50 50 sports accounts that are meaningful, like the Detroit Lions and the Thunder, because I can leverage those accounts to do an official seed round. So that 750 will last us for a year to get those sports accounts to create that seed round and hopefully have some athletic investors and ambassadors. I've talked to a couple of VCs that represent sports athlete, pretty high up professional athletes. And they said, when you get to the point where you're selling to teams, we want to talk to you to see about getting partners. So that's the goal.
Thank you. Thanks, Nancy. Any other questions? Either in the chat or raise your hand. Otherwise, I'll go into mine. Hannah, go for it.
Hi, Cindy. This is awesome. I loved what you were saying about just the makeup of the actual collagen. That was really impressive and insightful to me. So I will be supporting as an individual. I love how you are tackling spa, sport, hotel. I'm curious if like WNBA and women's sports are going to be an initiative. I think obviously Thunder and Lions are great, but that would be really cool to see a partnership like that.
Yes, absolutely. And the reason why I mentioned Thunder and the Milwaukee Brewers is because I know the senior management there, so it's a phone call. But Angel City, the women's soccer league in LA,
Yeah.
I know the head of marketing, like, through somebody at Warner Brothers. So yeah, I'm going straight there. But the way sales work is you get one and then you get the next one. So if I get Angel City, then I can go to WNBA, then I can start working on women's sports. I want to target everybody. Look, I'm targeting every single person that walks. That's how it works. But
Congratulations.
yeah, thanks.
Sounds like you're super connected, Cindy, and you're really leaning in on those connections, which is exactly where you need to start. Tammy, I saw that you raised your
Quick
hand.
question. I love your confidence. We'll start with that. I just quickly, did you try to go for traditional financing for just production of the product? Number one, and then also there's definitely investors that kind of focus on that space for gap financing for production. So
we don't have the revenue to qualify for loans because we ran out of inventory, and so we have no revenue since we ran out of inventory. We've just been turning down orders. So I can't really, qualify for an inventory loan. We're really at the investment stage. And I do have a small loan, a couple $100,000 that we started with. So we've got debt on the books. So yeah, I've tried everything, What are you going to do?
I understand it's not easy. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Tammy. Yeah, I think that's the reason we are so bullish on investing in this category as well, is because it's so hard for women to raise money. Any other questions from the audience? Don't be shy. Add it in the chat if you are shy, or of course, you can always link on the feedback link there and provide feedback that way. Any other questions live? Otherwise, I'll go into mine. Len, go for it.
Good afternoon. Nice presentation, Cindy. I caught the end of the presentation. I was a little late, so I apologize for that. But you said you're not going to use any distribution. You're going to go direct to your consumer. How do you scale that? Because if it's just you going out and talking to teams one-on-one, you're not going to be able to scale it quick enough to meet investors' criteria. So how can you scale faster?
Okay, I think you caught it late. I do have distribution nationally with UNFI and KHE, so I have distribution. I just want to create profit first now without using distribution. I have a very robust 3PL fulfillment house in Las Vegas. I ship directly to all my hotels. They don't have any manufacturer chargebacks. They pay me within 30 days. So I can drop ship to hotels easily. I use Amazon Freight to ship pallets to the tribes, and I can use Amazon Freight to pallet into these teams. So when I get to the point with this SPV fund that I'm selling to X number of teams and X number of hotels, then I can go out for VC and, look into whether it's US Foods or whether it's Cisco and talk to the teams and see how they prefer to receive. That's how I'm approaching it. Because distribution, I don't know your background, but they just don't pay the bills. I don't want to say bad things about them, but they're...
Yeah, it's more about scaling.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tricky. So I figured out 3 paths to build revenue and cash without distribution to get to the tipping point where I can get that seed round. And then we can go forth, not to Walmart because they really don't pay, but, back into retail. I'm in retail. I don't get paid.
Okay. I was going to ask the same question that Rachel just asked in chat, so I'll let Laurel take care of that.
Thanks, Glenn. It's almost as if you host a pre-accelerator and do this yourself all the time.
In my
Rachel,
sleep.
Rachel asked, sorry, not in place to use the mic, but could you be a bit more specific about what happened with the loss of inventory? Is this just a financial need, or is the manufacturing or fulfillment process needing adjustment? Actually, that was gonna be one of my questions too. Were those relationships damaged? Are you able to go back to them? Just a little more color on that.
I have a fabulous supply chain. When I launched this, I worked for Disney for like 11 years. So, I don't know if any of you have worked for Disney, but it's pretty serious and strict. So I started this company with the big goal in mind. I have robust supply chain. I have one of the best co-packers in the country that can absolutely scale. But I sold out so much product, and my 2 distributors, okay, backing up. My first check from KeHE, if you're familiar with KeHE Natural Foods, I sent them an invoice for $12,000. They sent me 4 pages of deductions, and I got a check for $37. That's distribution. So I don't have the cash to, create another round of inventory at this point. They just don't pay me. My other distributor, this is heartbreaking, but they're telling me that I owe them $6,000 for selling my products. They probably billed, I don't know, $200,000, and after they deducted all the ads, they want me to send them a check for $6,000 on top of all the product they took. And this happens every day. They get sued all the time. And if any one of you works for the New York Times and wants to write about it, please interview me.
I love that, Cindy. Thank you for answering that question. It sounds like you're able to go back and sell back to the groups that you didn't have inventory to service as well.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody. No, I get emails and texts all the time saying, please come back. Because 25% of the brands in my category have failed in the last year and a half because of the economy. So shelf space is open. I mean, this is a great time to stay alive.
Yeah, ready to drink the carb category. Tim, I saw you raised your hand. Let's do one last question from you, and then we've got to move on.
Yeah, I'm an investor in a different drink company. I'm curious about 2 things. What's the feedback on your taste profile of the drink? And secondly, given everything you've just said about the problems you're having with the distribution side, what will change with the money that you get to ensure that you don't run into those same challenges when you go out with distribution with the funding? Thanks.
Okay. First answer, drinks taste great. I worked at Chez Panisse, if you're familiar with Alice Waters' restaurant, and I went to the Cordon Bleu. So the profile's very clean. Like one of the flavors, lime, just has 4 ingredients. They're super clean. What will change is that I'll have more leverage as a bigger company. There will be more demand because when you're in sports teams and when you have professional athletes promoting the product, then you have a bigger demand, and that creates leverage with the distributors to avoid the ad spend.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Cindy. Great question, Tim. And it sounds like you are on your way to great success in the RTD category. Thank you, Cindy, for kicking us off. And also, I have to say thank you for being our first Indigenous pitcher ever. We really appreciate that.
I know, we're rare. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so, so much. All right. Reminder, Gigi asked me to remind everyone, link on the feedback form. Please provide feedback. It's super helpful. And Cindy, I've got a couple of individual messages. People will be reaching out to you. I think Angel has a connection. I know Deb Fine has a connection for you. So you'll get some individual connection points there as well. Next up, we've got Natalie. Natalie, are you in the room? Yes, I see you, my love.
I am, yes, here.
Oh, how are you?
Great.
Ready to pitch your little heart out. Go for it.
Oh, yeah. So are we ready? Yeah, with the time and everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So thanks for having me today. I'm the co-founder of Darshana, and we already have some of those things built. A platform that redefines how we verify trust professional professional experience and education from people. And that's what the reason is because we have a lot of AI things that help us all the hiring process and to find people to hire. But the thing is that the data is not good because you put whatever you want on your profile sometimes, or just a slightly different things that are real. So AI is just only amplifying this problem. So resumes are incomplete, they're in unverified experience. This dynamic actually creates a system where, there's a need for real data. So what we are working now today is I don't know, maybe you did a bad hire, not because you wanted to or the talent wanted to, but then you find this person on the information this person shared, and then you run through the interviews, and then you did something. This is not really working, right? So replacement is super expensive. And today, the world, specifically after the pandemic, we're hiring a lot of people globally, not really on where we work. There's a lot of remote work. Now it's coming back to on-site, but still a lot of companies really leveraging the power of global talent. So, we're feeling the pain. Why? Because our company and our companies we support, they're trying to hire globally, and then sometimes they don't find a good match, or they find a match that they think is good and is not actually super good. So that's a problem today, and that's a lot of money and time and resources that we miss if we do that. So solution today, we have a blockchain as a credential verification. This engine is based on standards that are run by the European Union. There are some states in US that's globally deploying on verifiable credentials. So we are part of a larger group of companies and startups that are pushing this. We're pushing education and work experience. There's our startups working on health records. There's our startups working on companies working on wallets, holding those. So that's a lot of work that we are doing, and we go beyond verification because what we're trying to do is to provide better data for all the tools that we are building, and also we are helping other companies, let's say your platforms or marketplaces, to get better data so they, without the power of AI that they have, they can make better matches, let's say, for talent and job posting or anything else they want to do. So we are on that journey today. Okay, so we have three things. Credential verification, I mentioned. This is an engine. It's pretty standard. We just run that for companies when they want to check if that some person is verified. We run it for education institutions that want students and alumni get verified. We have, governments trying to get people verified. On top of that, we have AI tools that we develop and AI tools that are developed at our companies using our data. And then we have digital wallets where all this data is held. This data is not ours. We leverage that data to make other things, to build these tools, and also to provide suggestions on top of that. But why is important that the data right now belongs to people? Because that's how where regulation is going today. Ownership or data sovereignty, or these things are being pushed because times are changing, so we need to push for that today. And then not only doing the tools, but also educating people on how to take care of their data, how they can own it, how they can store that on the wallets and everything else. Okay, my co-founder, she's in Spain. We met at MIT when we were doing a master's. We have global experience on AMA technologies. She's an intellectual property attorney. We are both very savvy and also in businesses. We built companies before, and we're also working corporations for a long, long time. Our team is globally distributed. We're mainly women. We have women and men and people from a lot of diversity backgrounds. So that's good because we ourselves, we had this problem of breaking glass ceilings and everything else. So that's important because we know right now what are the hacks and what are the tools that we can leverage in order to bring people or new talent to the global talent pool. So our experience is really not only going to generate a lot of revenue, but also to cause impact on, underrepresented or hidden talent around the world. Okay, so around our product, right now we have, for companies, they can check if talents are verified. We have that one up and running. Right now we're running pilots with that because because we don't have a lot of data. So that's the thing that we are focusing right now. You're going to see on the strategy later. But if the record is not there, we can gather that. It's not going to be immediately, but it's going to take 48 hours. So companies are getting that, especially other startups that are hiring. Let's say they're going to hire this person. This is the only person they're going to hire for the coming 6 months, and this needs to be a real good fit. They really need to trust where this person comes. And then also when companies are doing massive, let's say tech companies doing staff augmentation, that's also something that is needed because they need to verify a lot of people. Also, we have the wallet where people can check on their credentials, and we have another couple of things. Companies are also, this is what we're piloting right now, chatbots and other AI tools. Below we have the engine, the models, everything. On top of that, we have chatbots, we have emails. It doesn't matter how they consume that, but they get recommendations on where to get better talent. And then on the other hand, for the community, we are piloting this with universities, giving this to students so they can have a career companion there, so they can leverage our tools, so they can get better recommendations how to get jobs globally. Around KPIs, we have 5,000 community members, so we have 5,000 records. Actually, we duplicated that last week. We ran a campaign for that. We have around 20 companies. We have $700 of customer acquisition costs on B2B. We have also some good revenue at the end of last year, 35K, because we pivoted and we started, onboarding universities that are paying us to gather data, which is something that we need. And there's a big market right now on identities and credentials and verifications is $2.4 billion and $12 billion around AI tools trained, but then we are training them with better data. We have already the platform. We have some APIs, so some other platforms can consume our resources through that. So, and then we are hitting around March because we are combining a lot of things together. We are leveraging other data and data from governments and from other companies. So we're going to hit 1 million records by the end of March. We are on track on that. So that's super exciting for us. With 1 million records, we are going to keep training our models and our AI tools, and then also we can, make more companies check on what we're doing. Okay, unit economics, short with this. What we're doing is we have a customer acquisition that is higher, but then the margins, because it's a software as a service, they're super big. And what we're trying to do from the very beginning is to have recurrent revenue, not only for universities, from companies. So we have that in mind because that's super important for us to get the recurrent revenue from the very beginning, not for companies that are consulting like one here and there or universities that are paying for one record. That's easier for us to keep that up and running. So right now we are raising 500K. It's unsafe. We have a 10 million post-money evaluation. We raised money already from the founders grants around 160K, and then we have we already are around 100K from the current round raised. And the thing here is that we want to do is gather more records. So if we are on the million at the end of March, we're going to get to 10 million by July. Business development, because we need more hands to go to more companies and universities and other institutions. And then intellectual property. My co-founder is an intellectual property attorney, so she's like, okay, you need to do this, considering that whatever we are building, it needs to be also considered as an asset for the company. Okay, I won't go through that, but the focus today is gather data, train our tools, and then business model should be always and always have companies or B2B organizations that could bring us recurrent revenue and bring us more data. That's the thing that we want to do today. And finally, around the roadmap, first, as I mentioned, pilots with AI, more data, then we're going to release more of the tools that we have around AI. And we keep doing pilots with a lot of companies today. And we also have some good partners. Let's say NTT Data. This is a big company around the world that brings wallets. So we have distribution through them for our credentials engine. And last but not least, this is what we want to do today. We are super excited to be building this together because we really think that this is important for the future of the world, the future of work. So thank you so much for having me.
Well done. This is and perfectly on time, I will add. So that was like to the nose. I love it. This is a super deep, very technical
Yeah,
conversation. I'm sure
I
there's
know.
gonna be a lot of questions, and y'all can see like how we kind of swing from consumer to more of an AI conversation. Nancy, I saw your hand go up first. Go for it.
Yeah, thank you very much for your presentation. I think it's you're making an important difference in work and applications. I want to understand a little bit more about the pain point.
Mhm. Yes.
So how many resumes are inaccurate? You hear all kinds of statistics. How many people lie on their resumes? How painful is this for institutions, companies to get the correct information? I want to really be able to feel and understand this pain. And the second part of my question is, what is the sales cycle? Who is your target customer?
Excellent questions. Thank you, Nancy. So first, and these answers could be like 30 minutes, but I'm going to narrow down to this. There's asymmetry of information. It's not that people are intentional to put inaccuracies on their resumes. Sometimes they put that because they don't consider is relevant to the job posting that they see in front. So mostly, so what we found on the things that we're doing, and then compared to something that is super accurate, it's around 85%. Not because it's inaccurate, because I'm intentional to hide something, because sometimes I don't put something that is really relevant. That's a symmetry of information at its best. So what we're trying to do is to bring that to, okay, if you list 20 jobs and then all of them are relevant, that's good. But then we're just trying to, and then we don't have the answer right now for what's, let's say, relevant, but at least we have the answer right now, what is accurate. So we're working on that first. We have order cycles going further. So in terms of soft skills and everything, that's also you can verify. But that's the answer. That's it. And sometimes it's not intentional. It's just because they don't consider that that's something relevant. So they don't verify that, they don't put it. So that's number one. And then if you go for the companies, I think bad hires are around 25% of the cost, like the recurring cost of they need to rehire, they need to redo something. And then in terms of retention, it could go further. Like normal retention, let's say on that company is 5 years, and if you hit 2 years, is it good enough? It's not good enough. So there's a lot of numbers around that, and that's a big problem. Around sales cycles, just to go to the next topic, but we can discuss that on the first topic. That's a long thing that we are trying to solve. Is that with universities and institutions, what we're trying to do first is to gather more data. So they're paying us to gather more data. So cycles are around between 2 months and 5 months, which are long. We started last year, and we have a portfolio of 10 universities right now. We have 50 on our pipeline. So here's what we're doing. We are making them onboarding with global employability workshops, because they all want to be super global and super present globally, all the universities. So that's helping, because during the workshops and during everything, we started generating those credentials, and then most of them, because the customers are students and alumni, they said no. 90% of them said, "I want this." So that's the best sale, like reason they got. So normally that cycle shortens, and then we close things faster. We do that. Yeah. Thank you.
Great questions. Thank you, Natalie. Good response. Mark, go for it. Mark, you're still muted.
Thank you. Sorry, it's going to be a tough question or statement with a question that follows.
Sure.
And so, and it touches on a little bit of what Nancy was asking in terms of the problems that you're trying to solve. And so I get bad hires are terrible and bad hires are for business, but what makes you believe that bad resumes are the primary reason for bad hires? Because in my view, it's the smallest reason. It's almost irrelevant.
Yeah.
And so counter me, correct me on that. And then companies do background checks today. So we've been solving this problem for years by doing just standard background checks on people for the stuff that is relevant for our hiring. And then 3, how did you get to a $10 million valuation? Because I'm not seeing it.
Okay, wonderful. So, excellent question. So I'll go for the middle. Background checks are being there. We spoke to big companies doing that. I got hired by Goldman Sachs years ago. They took 2 weeks to verify all the background checks. That one cost $6,000. That cost goes down to $100 if we're doing that. So that's a good, because we were using records, and we were using records from a number of companies. So we just, let's say, facilitate that access. From the resume part, yes, when you, especially when you do global hiring, let's say, if you filter bad, then you're missing a lot of talent too. And then the other thing that we're doing is to bring in more people to the talent pool. So exactly, I agree. The resume is not the problem. The problem is that you don't even have resumes because you're pinging on where there's nothing. If this database is big enough on the globe, then you can get more access to that. And then on top of that, it's verified. And then there's
I don't
more
understand
things.
your product. I don't understand your product, because I thought you were validating resumes that were submitted, not that you're bringing resumes in. I totally don't understand your product.
We verify people. So you can ask for a resume to be verified, but then on top, before that, we're also verifying people in general. Because if Estonia, let's say, or Spain, they bring their people all the way up to these type of credentials, we already have them verified. So when you as a company want to hire somebody, maybe that record already there. But if you ask that to be verified because we don't have that, we can do that. But our main goal is to have most of the records, because we bring them, or our companies brought them to the databases that are already there. So you have that immediately. I think I didn't explain that well.
So you're providing a hiring pool in addition to a validation tool.
Yes, because the pool is verified. So that's no other way for us. It's not that we are providing global records from everybody. It's just we are providing verified records from people that are already verified.
Okay.
Yeah. And then for the evaluation,
I'm confused, but I'm going to stop.
Yeah, no, that's excellent that you asked that. And then for the evaluation, what we run is we got some advisors on VCs, and then what we did was companies on similar technology and on similar stage. That's the only way we did that, and the assets we are building right now in terms of intellectual property. So that's that. Yeah, but it's an excellent question, because we got that a lot, and then when they start reviewing this, okay, you have some things that are a good valuation. So yeah, but that's excellent that you brought that to the table. I like difficult questions. Thank you so much.
We're here to provide feedback. I think that there's some messaging that needs to happen on the deck a little bit. I think what your product is really, again, a deep tech product with this AI technology on blockchain. But for the lay person that isn't in your world, I think there needs to be a little bit more clarification in terms of like what
Wonderful
is. Len, I know that you Slack me or you messaged me with a question first, and then Tammy, and then we'll go to Marwan.
Okay.
Thank you. I couldn't find the hand up on my screen for some reason.
Okay.
Natalie, this is a pretty crowded space already, with many companies that have been around for over a decade, that have raised a lot of money. Some have gone public. How are you going to compete with the Accreditables, the Credleys, the Parchments, and the Certify.me of the worlds that have already been out there in the marketplace? What's your secret sauce that's different than what they're doing?
That's an excellent question. They have proprietary let's say, credential format information. So here's the thing. If you didn't verify the way that the standard asks to verify that, like you need to sign and everything, that information could or couldn't be valid. So they have a lot of things that you need to connect to their system. In our case, and our companies that are building, you can connect to your national wallet if you live in Germany, and then your credentials are going to appear that. So let's say we're doing connectivity from the very beginning. They need to migrate some of the stuff there. And that could be good, or that could be the worst thing, because they have a lot of proprietary data that they cannot use. So they're going to miss a lot of money if they do that. And we know by a fact that some of them, they are translating already to that, but it's taking them longer because the data is not verified, so they need to do a re-verification process to meet the standards. So that's the thing. We started from scratch from the new standard, so that's why.
Okay, thank you.
I think we have time for one more quick question with a quick answer. Tammy, go.
Okay, then I'll take, yeah.
Marwan, if you could add,
great,
ask the
because I'm just
question.
gonna I'm just gonna make a suggestion, so it won't even be that
Sure.
long. because you're working with educational institutions, I'm an investor that always talks people out of getting investors. So sometimes when you work with an educational system and you come from MIT, they may have grants, especially with AI and machine, with the learning portion. So I would definitely go down the path to see if there's any grants available because you're only raising 500,000 from MIT. And then in addition to that, there are a few early stage investors that have focused on diversity, AI, that are MIT graduates, and they are MIT graduates, also focus on MIT and as an investor. And I'm going to put in the chat box one as an example of who that might be. So there might be a whole category of investors that will be kind of invested in along the way of your growth as you figure out what your product is, because it is a little confusing, but
Yeah, thank you so much.
there's definitely a need. There's always a need for helping talent.
I also like
Thank you
to
so much.
talk people out of taking investment if they can go another route. I think there's some work to be done here, Natalie, but it's a very exciting and interesting product. Marwan, if you wouldn't mind adding your question in the chat, we do want to see it, but we have to move on. Pitch number 3 is Shelly with Bake It Box. I love Shelly so much. I've known her for a while now, and she is an international superstar if you don't know. So I'm just going to set you up for success with that one. Take it away.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right, I'm just going to share my screen and then we'll be all ready to go. Okay. Well, thank you for having me. I'm Shelly Gupta, founder of Bake It Box. As a young Indian student, the only way I learned about culture was through family, friends, travel, and food, but not from the typical classroom. According to the US Department of Education, students of color make up 56% of public schools, yet less than a quarter of the curriculum provides cultural relevance. The National Education Association reported that when elementary school students are exposed to cultural education, 60% develop more positive attitudes towards different cultural identities. So I created Bake It Box, offering STEM-inspired baking kits that provide family-focused learning activities through globally inspired baking projects. From Mexican churros to Persian love cakes, every box includes pre-measured ingredients, color-coded recipe cards, and culturally related STEM activities. For example, our churro box includes a building project for a 3D star lantern that's used during traditional Mexican holidays. We currently focus on subscriptions and individual kits sold through the website, but we are moving towards various B2B channels to reach those larger audiences. Our core product is a 3-kit bundle priced at $74.99 that includes 3 different baking kits and the STEM activities. Our annual subscription is 3 kits delivered on a quarterly basis for $240, and then we also sell a variety of single kits for $33 to $39 across various platforms. Every Bake It Box bundle provides 2 to 3 hours of educational and fun activities. It's ideal for kids from ages 5 through 10, and kids can read along and follow directions with or without supervision. All of our boxes are designed for optional parental participation. And I wanted to share a couple of stories from our customers with you. Jenny ordered our arugula last Hanukkah, and she wanted to bake it with her daughter. And Jenny shared that she had had a friend that had recently passed away who used to make her family these delicious Jewish sweets every holiday season. And she shared that it was a really beautiful way to remember her friend and celebrate her friend alongside her daughter. And Mark, who's a middle-aged man with 2 preteens, he tried our Greek koularakia cookies, and he shared that it was the first time in a very long time that he had spent quality time with his kids. These are the kinds of experiences that we're giving our customers. Our initial target market is the 3.7 million students enrolled in US homeschooling. This year, we are expanding into 3 additional B2B channels, including school and kids programs, retail, and brand partners. Our total addressable market consists of the 41 million families, US-based families, with kids between the ages of 3 and 15. Our serviceable addressable market is 6.2 billion, including those families that seek education outside the classroom. And our serviceable obtainable market is 1% of our SAM at 62 million. Since we launched in 2023, we've sold over 2,000 units, received hundreds of 5-star reviews and counting, and generated over 110K in revenue. We maintain an average gross margin of 51% on our boxes, and we've experienced 10% churn on subscriptions versus the industry average of 20% for food-based businesses. We have 55,000 email subscribers and a 56% email open rate versus the CPG industry average of 20%. We are already approved as official homeschool curriculum in 12 states, which means families can use grant funding to purchase our products. And this is our biggest revenue driver to date. For school and kids programs, we're in conversations right now with kids camps, including Frontier Girls, American Heritage Girls, and Spiral Scouts to build Bake It Box into their programming. For retail, we are already on Amazon and Walmart.com, and we're in conversations with Costco, 1-800-Flowers, and boutique gift stores across the country with a focus on both seasonal and evergreen product. So, for example, we launched our Austrian Linzer heart cookies for Valentine's Day just last month, and that offered European-themed activities, including the origin story of Cupid, history of art in France, and activities relating to different formats of chocolate. We're also working with third-party companies to create co-branded products. We recently secured a partnership with WildBrain to create a strawberry shortcake themed product, and we are in discussions with Grumbleina. And while we are seeing funding of cultural products and programs being cut, I want to say that we are doubling down on our commitment to brands and retailers that really understand the importance of our work. And Bake It Box is more important than ever right now to bring that cultural education into households, especially at a time where we're seeing it more and more absent in schools. And diving into our homeschool channel just slightly here, it is our biggest channel to date. And our strategy here is to focus on scaling our state approvals to all the 21 eligible states, which is a combined market size of 200 million. Bake It Box fosters meaningful family connections through cultural and educational experiences. By engaging in global baking and STEM, kids are building critical thinking skills while deepening their cultural appreciation. And we're also empowering parents, especially mothers, by providing accessible tools to create enriching and screen-free bonding moments with their kids. Our primary competitors are KiwiCo, a STEM-based learning company, Love Every, a kids play-based kit, Crunch Labs, a STEM kit, and Little Passports, an early education company. We differentiate ourselves by offering cultural education for the whole family as opposed to kid-focused activities. Our subscriptions are also more affordable with options as low as $60 per quarter for the annual subscription compared to our competitor averages of $90 to $100. We've also customized our product to better fit our customers' lifestyles by offering a quarterly option, as we found that 90% of our customers felt that monthly deliveries led to clutter. And lastly, we are the only kit that blends baking global recipes with STEM activities. Through our sales channels and partnerships, we project growing from the 2,000 units sold to 10,000 units sold by the end of this year, generating 300K in revenue. We project that 40% will come from our existing e-commerce business, 15% from retail, 35% from brand partners and corporate partners, and 10% from our recurring subscriptions. We aim to achieve this by optimizing our Amazon account, signing on 10 to 15 retail partners, and activating corporate partners for gifting. Over the next 3 years, we intend to expand our retail footprint into Canada and expand our offerings into other kids programs, including hotels that offer activities for kids under 15. And we expect to reach profitability in 2026 with 1.4 million in revenue. As CEO, I bring a background in business management and finance, including an MBA from University of Chicago Booth School of Business and 4 years at Accenture Strategy as a tech strategy manager. As executive director of the Easton's Group for 7 years, which is a hotel and management company, development and management company, I built go-to-market strategies for hotels and condominiums, leading to the fastest selling condo project in downtown Toronto. I also founded Guitars Over Guns Rise, which is a nonprofit organization that connects high school students to mentors. My team includes Katrina Dequette, Ops and Creative Specialist, who's a dedicated pastry chef of 11 years, a social media expert, and a startup enthusiast. Shireen Shirazi, our Director of Marketing, who led marketing efforts at Kinder Music, and Jordan Warner, who is our Head of Ops, who led operations at JHS Packaging. We're raising $1 million via Safe Note for 18 months of runway to onboard 5 kids programs, secure 50 retail placements, activate 2 brand partners, and adopt 500 homeschool users. Approximately 300K is going to be used to hire a sales team for retail and youth program growth, 250K for digital marketing, PR, distribution, and in-store demos, 200K for product development, 50K for website, marketing tools, system integrations, and 200K for operations and fulfillment. We do currently have a commitment from the Illinois Invent Venture Fund. So please join Bake It Box as we empower curious minds through STEM, food, and culture. Thank you.
Amazing. You really hit a nerve in the chat. Everyone's so excited about your offering. Such a beautiful mission. We have some people that have really like received this product in a way with their culture, and they feel like you're a really great communicator, which of course you are. And I personally tasted and experienced this product, and it's pretty fantastic and fun for the family. All right, let's get into questions. Mark, as always, kick us off.
Happy to. Thank you, Shelley. Yes, very exciting. And as you were speaking, I was thinking of Every, because actually through another VC fund, I'm an investor there, and my grandson is a subscriber. And it struck, and I think they're doing relatively well, but I'm not close enough. And so I think there's a lot of opportunity for you. It was interesting for me when you brought them up as a competitor, because I actually see them as a potential partner for you, right? That you
Absolutely.
have you thought about connecting up with them and trying to co-market and share customer base, because you're bringing different things to the kids with a similar philosophy. So I see it as an and, not an or.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a really good point. When I look at our competitors, they're all very indirect. So they serve a similar market and a similar educational mindset. But to your point, there really aren't direct competitors to what we're doing. So I would love to work with Every. Everyone I know who has young children love that brand. And I agree with you that they serve a little bit of the younger community as well. So as those children grow, they would grow into our customers. I don't have a contact there, but if anyone does, would definitely be open to that.
I can find the contact, so I'll make a note of it. I'm going to be traveling for a bit, but I'll make a note of it, and then so send me your information, and I'll get you something.
Yeah, sounds great.
Thanks.
I love it. This is what this is all about, is collaboration. Any other questions before I go into a few of mine? Anyone else want the floor? All right. Can you talk a little bit about the Techstars partnership? Are they backing you? Like, dig in a little bit there for us.
Yeah, so we joined Techstars before I launched the official product in 2023. So we joined at the end of 22. And they are investors and advisors and definitely back us. It was a really wonderful program, actually, because it led me to launching as a STEM and educational product. They really challenged me to think about who our customers really were. And at that time, I was trying to be for everybody. And we did a lot of detailed customer studies and learned that over 65% of our customers at the time were already parents with kids looking for more of the education, and we weren't giving it to them. So Techstars was very critical for us to relaunch in 2023.
Thank you. Do you have any intention of going international? I know that there's a lot of expats all around the world. Is that something that's on the roadmap, or are you really focusing on the US market?
Right now in the US, just in order to scale and really be able to hit a point of sustainability with the business, Canada is kind of an easy next second. Language is something that we're considering, though, because if we are to launch internationally, we would want to be able to translate. So, hitting the low hanging fruit for Canada, potentially the UK, potentially Australia would be the first targets.
Got it. Thank you. I really appreciated the lean in on the marketing KPIs. I thought that was really well done. Obviously, you're a great communicator. We're getting really great feedback in the chat. Florencia said, as a mom of 2 and an immigrant who's forever confused about how to speak to my boys about culture and our mixed background, this really resonates. So your products really are resonating with our audience. I thought it might be a really good idea for you to talk a bit more about the screen-free bonding. If you had some data or some stats on how much kids are in front of their screens, I think for parents in particular, that might be really helpful. Is that something you thought about?
Yeah, I don't have data on, I mean, from personal experience, I think it's 100% of the time, but we do have data on what the parents have requested. So we've surveyed and asked about, do you want to see our content digitally on paper? If you were to save money, would you want it digitally? And they all opted into, no, we want it paper. 85% wanted more content in their hands. So that's something that we're really taking to heart because some of our kits are digital downloads. So we're moving towards getting those printed and in our boxes. So we definitely know that that's top of mind, especially in the kitchen. It kind of makes sense. You want something in your hand versus pulling an iPad over to the sink.
I meant more about like leaning in on that from a messaging perspective, because that's such a pain. I'm not a parent, but I hear that that's a huge pain point for parents. So just a note from a marketing perspective.
Absolutely. We've gotten a ton of feedback on that the one of the biggest value props is that it is a screen-free activity where you can put the phone away, not only the kids, the parents as well, putting the phone away, the iPad, the tablets, and actually spending quality time with your kid in that moment.
But actually adding some data behind that to like make it a wow factor, I think would be really
Yeah.
interesting. I did get a
Okay,
direct
cool.
about, can you address your supply chain a little bit and how that works?
Yeah, so we have a facility in Chicago. It's a certified kitchen space, and we do everything internal right now. We are not we're co-packing a few ingredients, which essentially are mass packaged with machinery, but most of ours are hand packaged right now because it's just the most cost effective. We work with wholesalers across the country for all of our ingredients. Everything's shelf stable. So if you picture, flour, sugar, vanilla, all of those items we store and inventory in bulk, and then we can make our kits and inventory them on a periodic basis.
Thank you. I have two more questions that came in directly to me. People are being shy today. It's very funny. They're not usually shy in this meeting or in this pitch, but someone said your price per quarter was significantly lower than your competitors. Has that changed your margin, or have you thought about maybe increasing pricing to improve margin?
Yeah, great point. We are priced across every platform very differently, just based on our market. So in the homeschooling world and in the subscription world, we are the lowest, and that was on purpose because we are sold on a quarterly basis. So your average order value is a little higher than what you might be used to with our competitors. So you're spending 75 versus or 60 if you're subscribed versus if you're doing it monthly and it feels like a little bit of a lesser number. So that was kind of, purposeful. But we do sell our single kits for up to $40 across Amazon, across our corporate partners, and across like promotional products. So it kind of balances out on margin. But it's not off the table to increase our subscriptions over time.
Thank you. I got another question. Says, so cute. Do you have an evaluation, or did I miss it? Do we have an evaluation slide? Did we see that?
No. In terms of what?
I meant valuation, period. I don't know what I
Valuation, yes. I did not have that on the slide, but we are doing a safe note with a value cap of 6 million.
Okay. Great. Those are all the questions that I have. Does anyone else have a question? Otherwise, we will go into our stretch break. Awesome. Shelly, thank you so much. You are a fantastic communicator. We really love your presence. You are clearly so passionate in bringing this to kids and parents. So thank you for your time. And with that, we will go into our next pitch. Sergey, are you there?
I'm going to take this opportunity to really use a demo format as part of our pitch. And so I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen here. And just let me know when you can see my screen there.
It's on a little bit of a delay. Maybe we'll unshare and try sharing again. Oh, there we go. You're good.
Okay, awesome. Cool. So just to jump in, Datatrix is an AI-powered co-pilot for CPA firms, enabling them to automate financial analysis and uncover data-driven insight instantly without manual effort. The accounting software market is $15 billion plus, with firms, actively seeking AI solutions to improve efficiency. And we've integrated with platforms like QuickBooks, process thousands of financial transactions, and are gaining traction with CPA firms and financial service firms. Most accounting firms, rely on manual processes and fragmented tools, wasting hours on analysis. And market leaders focus on bookkeeping automation, but they ignore real-time data intelligence. And so this is where Datatrix comes in. Datatrix goes beyond automation. We provide instant financial insights, making AI the CPA's best assistant. And we operate on a B2B SaaS model, offering monthly and annual subscriptions based on usage. And our price scales with firm size. So this ensures that we have strong customer retention and predictable ARR. So with that, just going to dive into what our platform really means for CPA firms. And so what you're seeing here essentially is their central dash hub for managing all their clients. So they can come in and start with, let's say first things first, add a client. And with this demo, we're going to call it, Fabric DC demo. So this is just an example of how they can add a client to the platform here on Datatrix. Now from here, we have a couple flagship tools that they can use to actually add information onto these clients' board. And one of our first flagship products is a product called Warren. Warren is our AI tool that really helps CPA firms, interact with the data so that they can create advisory reporting for those clients. And as you can see here, they have the option to bring in data from their QuickBooks account, which they would have connected on the platform, or uploading, CSV files to make sure that the app has context around the business in general and is not just siloed with particular data sets. So with this, we're just going to go ahead and use an existing file that we've actually already uploaded here. And this is a 2-year for a SaaS company. Note that they can actually choose multiple files that they can bring into the platform, right? Again, enabling the platform to take into account different contexts for the business. For this demo, we'll stick to just one of the files here, and then we'll go ahead and select it. One thing about our platform, which is also makes our platform incredibly different and unique, is the fact that unlike most AI platform, what happens is, it returns information that is missing, right? And this is an issue that a lot of, folks working with AI experience or see all the time. Our platform, every time you choose a file or ask it questions, it actually goes through and scans the data thoroughly to make sure that it's taking everything into consideration and is not leaving anything. So with that, this is the assistant here. It's available for the CPA. The user can come in here and enter a question. So we'll just go ahead and enter one of the first queries here, which is, can you create a retention model for me that's trended and broken out by different categories of revenue in a chart? So we'll ask the AI and see what it gives us. And again, our AI goes through and scans the data to make sure that it takes every single piece of data factored into the response. So we'll just give it a second there. And I will also note that one of the big value proposition of our platform is that we can handle almost an unlimited data set coming into our AI. Again, a lot of limitation is when a user is trying to upload a file on this limit. In our platform, we can handle virtually an unlimited number of data sets on our platform, which is a huge boost for CPA firms that have large data sets. So this query, we have a response here that is actually provided us. And as you can see, it gives the user a thorough understanding how it's actually gone through and created the retention model overview here, right, in a text format. But we asked it in a chart format, and so it actually returned that for us here. So if you can imagine, as a CPA, for you to actually put this together, requires hours just to get these graphs, created. But with Datatrix, within just a matter of a couple seconds here, we have information that is relevant for us. And so it actually provided us with gross revenue retention, the revenue, and the expansion revenue. So this looks good, and I'm going to add this to my client's board. All right, perfect. So just like this, I have something on here. Now, next, we're going to go ahead and add something else. Maybe I want to see, hey, how does this company compare to, a typical VC-backed company, right? These are analysis that CPA firms can perform very quickly with our platform. And I've already pre-selected a question here, so we'll go ahead and use that. And again, same thing. It always scans through the data to make sure that it's taking everything into consideration. And so, excellent. So it actually provides us with the result, right? It tells us, and if we, dive in a bit deeper into here, it will tell us what the revenue growth and stabilities are like in terms of, and I'll just read a couple of examples here. It looks at the monthly recurring revenue and it says, the company's revenue exhibits relatively stable monthly figures, right? Ranging from approximately 80,000 to 120,000, while stability is positive. The absence of consistent upward trend may indicate limited growth momentum. So this is a great insight to actually understand, hey, this business, is or may not be on track for a VC-backed company, but we have the answer now, right? In terms of expansion revenue, there are fluctuations in expansion revenue, which suggests variability in upselling or cross-selling efforts. Consistent growth in expansion revenue is crucial for long-term scalability. So again, we, as a CPA, I can quickly get advisory report and notes from my clients, and I can also provide recommendations. So this looks great. I'm going to add it to the client report as well. Excellent. So just like that, within a few minutes, we're able to create reports for our client, right, that we can make available to them. And so an example of a completed report, it's something that looks like this, fully completed report that a CPA can use and make available to their client within just a few minutes. And we have, as you can see here, we have tabbing, which allows the CPA to display the data in whichever way they think is relevant for the client to consume as a result. So again, just sharing a couple of different versions of completed reports here that a CPA can share with a client. As you can see, they have full flexibility in how they display the data, how they structure it based on what they know about the client. And again, we can have incredibly beautiful charts that tell the story and visuals from here. In addition to this, our platform is incredibly collaborative. So now as a CPA, as I'm working on these, report for my clients, I can invite another, teammates to have access to the same report and make edits or changes or collaborate with me to get it done. And when we're done, when, maybe it's the controller that gives the go, we can simply just invite our client or share this with our client, and the client can have access to that. They have multiple ways of working with the clients in terms of how they share the report, whether it's by sharing them via email like this, or when they're into advisory report meeting or having conversations, they can pull up the screen, go through the information, and oftentimes what happens is the client is asking me questions, or I say as a CPA, hey, what about this? What is, they can actually go in, as I mentioned and showed in our platform, and instantly ask our AI engine questions, which they can make available to this client immediately. Now, and in addition to that, one thing we make available are templates, just to help it, let's say you want to get started off the ground. We provide, 5 ready to use templates off the ground, where, just to get inspiration of what you may want to provide for a client. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and use a healthcare template. As you can see, we provide incredibly detailed information that, whether it's a novice, right, or a CPA that just needs a little bit of an inspiration for what they want to add to the client's board, they instantly can find that here and make that available to the customer. So that's Data Tricks in a nutshell. I'm Serge Amuzu, and I'm a serial entrepreneur. Have been building Fintech and AI-powered, data analytics solutions for a while. And we have an incredibly talented team with our head of engineering having been at Meta, and product designer being award-winning designers throughout the world, and financial analysts with deep expertise in fintech and automation. And with that, we're raising $1.4 million safe, to accelerate product development, scale customer acquisition, and expand integration with major financial platforms. Thanks.
Thank you. If you could unshare your screen, please. I have to say I'm a little surprised by the format, because I know that you sent us a deck earlier and I thought you were speaking to that. So I'm not sure if a demo is the right format for a demo, to be honest, because a lot of us, I know Mark, for example, Mark Wald is in this world and he could probably speak very intelligently to it, but I'm not in this world the same way. And I want to know the back end, like what is your team, which you barely touched on? What does your revenue currently look like? What is your roadmap? There's so many pieces that just got missed here because you decided to do this in a demo format. So I would say I didn't know if this was the best use of your time, but that was your choice. Hannah, I'll get to you one second. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks so much for that. We've found on many levels it's helpful for in terms of our product to do a demo so that folks can actually see what's happening. And we're totally happy to dive into additional details as people have questions too.
Got it. So Valerie asked in the chat, and then we'll go to Hannah and Mark. How is this different than doing the same process through other AI offerings like ChatGPT? Is yours a secure system on your own personal LLM that's trained from your knowledge base? So why don't you answer the first question? How is this different?
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, our platform provides security and compliance. CPA firms, especially say, mid-sized firms, can't just throw financial data into ChatGPT, to get answers, right? Even if they did, the process is still disjointed, right? We all know how ChatGPT works. You copy and pasting, and things of that nature. It doesn't necessarily make it collaborative. And so what makes Datatrix, very different from that regard is that, again, we focus on security and compliance for firms.
Hannah, I'll go to you next.
Hi, yes, I just wanted to say, like, although it's not traditional formatting, I actually really appreciated the demo because I find myself to be, no matter as much research as I do, continuously AI illiterate. So like I liked it really did help me learn with the visuals. Obviously, like to Laurel's point, more background and all of that would be better. But like I just wanted to say thank you because I learned something and that
So
is
maybe
really
a
insightful
shorter
for me.
demo, like a component of it, like a really short.
Yes, I would agree. I think like in putting a demo in the deck would be very cool, but I definitely learned. So thank you.
Thank you. The other question was, how is this trained? Is this your own personal LLM? What is the knowledge base from?
Yeah, absolutely. So we use off-the-shelf LLMs. However, we fine-tune it based on specific tasks for clients, right? So, for example, in audit cases, right, sometimes they have some super specific way in which something needs to be returned, right? So we can actually fine-tune the LLM to be able to deliver that for specific customers.
Thank you. Mark, go ahead.
Thank you. And I'll start with echoing your first comment, Laurel. I don't think the demo was an effective use of time. My background is finance. I have well over 30 years of experience in the space. What is your target client size? Not the CPA firm, but your target client size that your CPAs are serving? Because this doesn't seem like an appropriate tool for most CPAs unless you're talking about super small clients and that are doing, I'll say, non-traditional CPA work and more financial advisory work.
Yeah, so well, let me start by sharing the type of CPA firms that we sell to, right? Typically, they're having revenues, in like $10 million to $70 million in revenue is the current type of CPAs that we're serving right now. And the client base ranges from, small to medium-sized businesses, right? So again, that, we found it varies so wildly that we can't necessarily always control their client sizes, right? But it's typically small to mid-sized businesses that we serve. Although I will also say that even with that, with the focus on sort of the mid-tier, $10 million to $70 million CPA firm, one of our clients is actually a Fortune 120 company, right? Because our platform is incredibly dynamic, right, in terms of sort of flexibility when putting together advisory report, right? So that like this firm, for example, uses us for management discussion analysis, right? This is a process that normally takes firms, minimum 10 hours just to put together, right? But with our platform, they can put management discussion analysis together in just a matter of minutes, right? Collaborate on that, get ready for SEC filings, and then they're good to go, right? So again, this is, that's just an example of, even though we focus on, fairly mid-sized firms, larger firms can also use us as well.
So for me, your target audience is wrong. I think it would be more effective for businesses to use internally for their finance teams as a tool for the finance team to use, much more so than CPA terms serving clients. And I think you'd have a much broader target audience that could leverage the tool.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. We do sell to businesses as well. Businesses do use our platform directly too. And so we have, multiple customer segment. The first being the CPA firm, because we've found that unless businesses have finance teams, right, they all rely on the CPA firm. In fact, we actually started initially as a financial plan analysis software for businesses directly, because this started as a personal pain point for me, right? And as we were evolving, as we kept learning from the market, we realized that a lot of companies, even somewhat well-financed one, still defer to the CPAs for financial insight and analysis. And so that's one of the reasons we actually pivoted to focusing servicing CPA firms primarily, right? While at the same time, we still do serve firms that like startups and companies that already have a finance team that are able to use our platform.
Thanks, Mark. There's a lot of questions coming in. So what's the valuation for the raise?
Yeah, we're open to the market.
Okay. And what's your go-to-market strategy? I think there was a missing, we didn't see any slides from you. So how are you connecting with these CPA firms? That's a question from Rachel.
Yeah, absolutely. There's multiple avenues that we're looking at. First, we have two partnerships, one with MasterCard, where we're getting introductions to relevant MasterCard stakeholders. And so we're a part of MasterCard Star Path. And so through this, we have introductions happening with, what's the name? A company called Valor. Anyways, it's a company called Valor. I can't remember the name right now, but there's multiple companies that MasterCard is introducing us to right now. And there's actually 3 use cases there. MasterCard, their team is actually evaluating us for their own internal advisory purposes, right? And then 2, MasterCard stakeholders actually pay MasterCard to provide them with advisory services, right? And on top of that, businesses or startups and tools that they should be using. So they're considering us for that too. And then the third is actually the client introduction. So Valor is this financial institution that we're being connected to. So that's just an example. On top of that, we have a relationship with American Express. And with that, this is where we actually working to be in their marketplace, right? Directly for their small business clients that can very quickly, instead of sort of relying on a CFO, use our platform to gain insight into the financials and things of that nature. So that's on the partnerships. In addition to that, we've actually just brought on, Jonathan Benelli, who's our head of sales, to really help take those go-to-market motions into play as we're really looking to scale here. And so with that, in parallel to that, what we're also doing, we actually use our own platform to create our own GTM sort of budget. And so that includes, the necessary elements. So far, we've gotten clients by, engaging with our CPA targets, on a monthly basis, right? Professional events and things of that nature. And so we take it to the next level by, bringing in or doing a mix of, content marketing. We recently published our new marketing website, all designed with the right SEO techniques to get us inbound, and we started getting inbound demos as a result. So we think that's working, right? And then in addition to that, we want to do some outbound email campaigns. Using the right software, the necessary software like Lemlist, Apollo, and things of that nature, so that we can actually open up the top of funnel a bit more. In terms of the clients that we want to move through the process and the pipeline. So it's a combination of multiple techniques that we're using to go to market.
Thank you. I think the last question here is from Marwan. It's a great question. Would love to know if there's any moat versus other AI CPA fine-tune LLMs. So what is to stop someone else from just coming in and building this?
Yeah, so this is a great question. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of the players are focused on automating sort of bookkeeping, right? It's all about how do we automate bookkeeping. And when it comes to advisory reporting is fairly nascent in terms of in the accounting world, right? Providing insights. And businesses are increasingly relying more on the CPA to become advisor rather than just someone who's providing them with financial statements at the end of the month, right? And this is a nascent space that Datatrix is actually charting. Yeah, and there's about 2 to 3 companies that truly focus on the advisory aspect of what we're building, right? With a lot of players focusing on the bookkeeping automation aspect instead.
Thank you. We're at time. You were a very good sport. We were a little tough on you, so I appreciate that. And if anyone has any more feedback, Gigi's going to drop the link in again since we have just 2 more to go. And I promise we're going like deep tech and then back to consumer, deep tech, then back to consumer. So with that, Valerie, I see you in the room. I've already had the opportunity of hearing Valerie pitch. She is an amazing pitcher, has a great stage presence, not to mention that she's building a product that is better for the world. So Valerie, thank you so much for being here, and I will hand the floor over to you. Oh, you're muted.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'm gonna present. Let me just get up my my deck really fast. It's really good to see you again. Hi, everyone. My name is Val. Okay, let me share screen with you all. My light's working. That's great. All right. Can everyone see this? Okay, perfect. So I can start now. Hi, my name is Val. I'm one of the co-founders of RiffCare. RiffCare is an innovative period care company that makes hormone-safe solutions. My co-founder Rebecca and I started Riff because in our early 20s, we suffered miscarriages and hormone health issues. We learned that millions of women are actually going through the same thing that we went through. In fact, 1 in 5 women will experience hormone imbalance in their lifetime. That's millions of women suffering. There's a growing awareness about the toxins in period care, from PFA forever chemicals in our underwear to now heavy metals that have been found in tampons. People are starting to feel like there are no safe options. Did you know that conventional tampons can shed up to 160 billion nanoplastics? And that's not over a lifetime. That's actually 160 billion nanoplastics per month if you use conventional plastic tampons. So, is that what we want to be using for over 40 years of menstruating? Keep in mind that the average woman has a period for about 40 years. This is why we created RiffCare. RiffCare makes hormone and planet-friendly solutions for better products. RiffCare makes hormone and planet-friendly products for better periods. We're the first company to launch hemp fiber in period care, and our vision is to provide safer, better products for women. Sorry, I lost my glasses. That's the problem. So why do we use hemp fiber? Hemp is a high-performing fiber that's super absorbent and comfortable. It doesn't need any pesticides to grow, and it grows with less water than cotton. Also, it's naturally antibacterial and antimicrobial, which means that it keeps you safer and also cleaner during your period. We have 3 core products: hemp fiber menstrual pads, hemp fiber period underwear, and also organic cotton tampons. We're a premium brand in a category that was previously dominated by plastic and unexciting options. Some people ask exactly how does the hemp fit into our product. So on our pads, the top sheet is made out of a blend of hemp fiber and organic cotton. The middle of the pad is made out of a pulp material. And then the backing of our pads is made out of a biodegradable material that we produce with actually sugar and potato starch. So the entire thing is plant-based. For the period underwear, we make it with a hemp and organic cotton blend. And then for the tampons, they're 100% organic. And the goal eventually is to make hemp fiber tampons, but that requires some funding and hopefully an NIH grant so we can go through all that process with the FDA. Riff products stand out because of our use of biodegradable materials. Plus, we are luxurious and affordable. We make sure our supply chain is transparent, and we use innovative ingredients, and our products are more high-performing than plastic and conventional products. We partner with state-of-the-art facilities that use clean energy and go above and beyond when it comes to safety testing. We have higher standards actually than the FDA even requires when it comes to things like mold testing, BPA testing, PFAs, heavy metals, unlike 99% of the brands on the market, which don't even test for things like that. The menstrual care market is a $43 billion industry. The global feminine care market is anticipated to grow to $73 billion by 2032, with a category average growth rate of 7%. This is amazing news for brands like us and organic brands in general. One of our main missions is to help change the category that is mostly conventional, about 90% conventional, and flip it so that we have a more equal distribution of organic and conventional sales. We've seen explosive growth in retail channels. Our sales have grown 85% in the last 52 weeks with a healthy 35% margin in retail. We launched with Erewhon, a very popular grocery store in Los Angeles. If you know, you know. And since we launched in there in 2022, we've maintained a #1 spot in our category. We've now grown to over 200 retail locations as of the end of 2024. And we have a monthly recurring retail revenue of about $20,000 a month. Our growth plans to 5x our retail sales. So over the next 12 months, we do plan to 5x retail sales. We'll do this by launching into 1,000 stores, 1,000 new retail locations. We'll also be getting our period underwear into all of our current retailers, which will increase our dollar sales by about 25%. Last year, we just got this data from Spins, and Spins provides data from scan through. So every time your product scans at a grocery store, we get to buy that data. And we saw that even though it's only 1/6 of our product line, our period underwear, it made up for 20% of our retail sales. So we know that just getting that product into all of our current retailers and then expanding it into our new retailers, it does so much for our sales. So that's one of our big goals. Our main sales channels are California, Oregon, and Washington. We'll continue to grow here and also expand into natural product stores in the Midwest, which should get us to our goal of $700,000 in retail sales. I am going to Idaho this weekend, meeting with some of our retailers that we just launched into, and also scouting new retailers, because we noticed when we were doing our online sales in the beginning that some of our hotspots in terms of like where we were selling were places like Idaho, Montana, Iowa. We were like, why are 10% of our sales coming from Iowa? But I mean, there is still so much white space when you think about retailers. And when you think about food deserts, those are also period deserts where you really can't find organic products, but people everywhere in the country have these needs. So still a lot of white space on retail shelves. Our online sales channels are where we see the biggest opportunities for growth and the biggest margin at 60 to 70% between Amazon and our direct site. In the last year, we saw a 50% increase in sales online with a customer acquisition cost of about $17 and an average order value of about $30. Our goal is to grow our online sales by 6x. Our plan is to increase our email list from 7,000 to 100,000 subscribers in the next 12 months. We'll grow our email list by releasing a free ebook that's launching in the next 3 weeks. We just worked on an ebook with our marketing manager and also a gynecologist who is an expert in endometriosis. And so the ebook is really for moms and daughters. It'll also be for schools. We've done some speaking engagements at schools, but it really is just like a free item that's going to sit on our website that's going to allow people to experience RIF, even if they've never tried our product before. So I know that, you know, in the digital age of running ads and Meta and all of that, it is really hard to get email addresses. But this is still a way that a lot of founders, for example, the founder of Bloom, which is now a $100 million a year company, first $1 million of business came from doing a free digital ebook download. So we were like, why not? We also plan to increase our conversion rate to 3% by running retargeting campaigns on social media from this email list. Our returning customer rate is currently 45%, which is pretty good. But our customers in our loyalty program have a 75% returning customer rate. We want to increase the returning customer rate by getting all of our new and existing customers into this program. If we do all these things together, we can not only meet, but also exceed our projected sales goal of $500,000 in sales online. RIFcare is building influence with over 30,000 women in our community between our newsletter and social media channels. If none of you follow us on social media, you should go do that now. We're at TikTok and on Instagram at RIFcare. We do talk about some pretty controversial stuff like periods, obviously women's health, vaginas, everything in between. But honestly, it's really fun. And if you're a woman or if you have a daughter or a sister, you might want to give them this information because we also break down just toxic products and ingredients in general. Because RIF is not just about period care. It really is about overall having a low tox lifestyle. So go ahead and follow us. That's my plug from this. We want to increase the returning customer rate by getting all of our, moving on to the next one. Our goal is to make RIFcare a period brand that every woman knows about. My expertise is as an influencer marketing strategist. I founded and was formerly the CEO of a talent agency called Role Models Management. We manage models and influencers who were geared towards sustainability and activism. This has given us access to hundreds of creators and people in the health and wellness space. And I'm also an influencer myself. I'll also give myself a plug. My TikTok and Instagram is Malibu Mama. You can also follow me there. We have an amazing team. My co-founder, Rebecca, is a scientist and makes sure that we use a data-driven approach to our operations. Also, an exciting announcement that I'm making actually for the first time on this call, you guys. This just happened like 4 days ago. We just brought on Monday Swimwear founders Natasha Oakley and Devin Brugman as our newest investors and partners. There are over 7 million followers combined, and their expertise in running a $50 million a year fashion empire will help us grow. They're giving us access to their team, promoting us on social media, and also their email list, which is 500,000 women once we announce the partnership publicly. Our sales team in the Pacific Northwest has helped us grow over 300% in the region. That's Maitri Marketing, which works on Idaho, Washington, everything in the Pacific Northwest. And also last year, we did a reality show that was on Roku called Side Hustlers, and we got to bring on Ashley Graham as an advisor and also an investor in Rivcare.
Just close us up with what you're raising, please.
Oh, sorry. What?
Close us up with what you're raising.
Okay. So we've already raised half of our $500,000 bridge round to help fuel this growth, and we're currently seeking $250,000 from angels and strategic investors to make all of these plans a reality. We plan to use these funds. Oh,
that's it. That's time.
Okay.
Just want to wrap us up on that slide. Thank you, Valerie. I've heard you do this before. Very impressive. Questions from the audience. You got a lot of love in the chat. So people know you already, which is great. Does anyone have questions? Otherwise, of course, we'll go into my own questions from the audience. Mark, kick us off.
Yeah, I don't want you feel lonely. Sounds great. Obviously, I don't have a lot of experience with periods. Well, other than my wife and daughter. But anyway, I'm also don't have a lot of experience in the retail space. So this may be a stupid question, and I apologize if it is. Why are you geographically limiting when you're going on the retail space to the West versus, especially for the national chains like Whole Foods and Targets, why not try to get, as you said, there's needs across the country, across the world. So why limit yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're definitely not limiting ourselves, but a lot of these retailers have done these national launches with brands, and a lot of brands have not been successful because of it. Like they've done a lot of sales, but it's hard to keep in stock when you're launching nationally. So even a lot of retailers will sometimes launch you in a region, even if it's not your direct region. Like, if we got into Target, for example, they might just want to launch us in all the Targets in Texas. So it's something that we're seeing more retailers doing. And also it's just the way that we're in distribution right now. We're with UNFI. So we are in, I think we have somewhere in Indiana, Philadelphia, and then in Washington, and then California. So it's like those regions are really places we can focus on, because if someone wants to order today, they could get product next week.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Casey, you have the floor.
Hey, good afternoon. Val, first off, awesome. Thank you, Laura, for putting this on. This is a space, ironically, I've had some experience in, and I think I would ask, not product use, obviously, but my question is a couple of things. Is an ebook really the best lead magnet in order to get women to change something that's so personal to them first? And just my own experience is that having women make this big of a change in their personal life can be a challenge, especially if you've been used to using a same product for years. So do you have a plan to sort of get younger women involved in the movement versus kind of that a 30-year-old or 40-year-old, number one? And could we partner with OBGYNs to use a sample method rather than an ebook? I'm just wondering if an ebook is really the best lead magnet. It seems to me that if a woman would try a sample, we have a higher likelihood of having her become an actual customer.
Yeah, so we do a lot of our sampling through retail, and even a lot of our direct-to-consumer customers have come from retail. Like total, since we launched 2.5 years ago, we've spent less than $20,000 on advertising. So it's been mostly sampling and demos. But we do feel that there's like every time we post a video on TikTok, if I do something and it goes viral, like so many responses from older women who are like, I never knew that. I never heard of that. And it's like they go in the aisle, they have both options, but for some reason, this information has just never passed them. For younger women, it's actually much easier because they're not stuck on a brand. Like I have a Gen Alpha kid. Some of you guys have Gen Alpha and Gen Z kids. And it's very easy for them to have 4 or 5 different brands that they like for the same product, like the same moisturizer, but 5 different brands, or period care, but they use liners from this brand, and then Riff pads, and then period underwear from us, and then tampons from someone else. So I think, especially the younger generation, they're just, and this has been proven, they're just not really stuck on one brand. So it's like, what else can we give them that's a value add? And we do think that's the ebook. Like I do read ebooks. That's how I changed to having a more low tox lifestyle. So it's just like a free educational piece. And eventually, I think, especially as we get more retail distribution, it's like they've seen our name, they've read the book, or even just skimmed through it. And I think it'll get them to have more brand recognition when we're eventually in a CVS or like in a 7-Eleven and they see us. And for some reason, we're way more familiar than if, we were just like available at natural product stores.
Yeah, this would just be one more final thing, and then I'll be quiet. All the content that you're creating for your social content, I'm just, as an investor, I'm always looking at the long-term value of that content where it's placed on something that's going to generate over and over. So YouTube. So if you don't have a YouTube channel, I highly recommend taking that content and putting it over on YouTube, where you can have people click a link, go to the ebook, and grow the email list on somebody's own dime.
Oh yeah, we literally just downloaded 600 of our TikTok videos and started posting them to YouTube. So it's something that we're focused on for sure this year. And even with horizontal content versus just vertical content, our UGC creators are starting to film that.
Yeah, it's just, as an investor, it becomes an asset on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just give Casey a little plug. He is an expert in this category and has been doing it way before any of us even knew that this was a powerful tool. So Casey, thank you for that feedback. Marwan, floor is yours.
Hi, Valerie. Thank you so much. Can anybody hear me? I just want to confirm my voice is going out.
I hear you. You're good.
Okay, thank you. So my mother had endometriosis. I'm quite curious about this product, but I have a few questions. I wanted to ask, firstly, from a scientific perspective, is there anything proprietary that you're depending on for this formula to build the tampons? And I wanted to get an idea of, number one, patent, number two, defensibility long term, from anybody else building a product that solves this problem that you're trying to solve. And, someone else could, like, I don't know, Kendall Jenner might be feeling generous and she could just take on this market.
So I'm hearing if there's any kind of moat.
Yeah, you cut out a little bit in the beginning. So we actually had a 2-year head start just because there wasn't that much supply for what we needed specifically, which was the hemp non-woven. So we got to be first to market, and that really helped us. But we found that in our category, like as important as innovation is, and as we've seen probably every innovator at some point be acquired, but patents just were not important. Like branding and retail shelf space was the most important thing with acquisitions in this space. So I think that's what we're focused on. Even with tampons, for example, like moving on them, it's like, do we really want to invest $200,000 when, like, is it going to be that important? Do you know what I mean? There's probably some way that we can make it, or we can get around having to do a patent. And we've even seen a lot of brands to spend money on patents and then not even go to market. So for us, I think it's just more important right now to make money. And then, if that comes later and we can get a grant to do it, then we will, but like not spend our personal money on it.
Thank you, Mark. Second question there.
It's fine. I just wanted to respond. If you don't have a patent, that's fine, but maybe you could elaborate on its defensibility. And the only reason why I'm asking is because we invest in deep tech and Black women as well. So, you'd be wonderful. And I really love the problem. So I'm just trying to see if I can validate this as deep tech for us. So if you have a response to that, great. If not, then that's fine.
Yeah, more impact and sustainability, and more stuff that we're going to be doing eventually, like in the biodegradable plastic space, because there's a lot of stuff that we could add to our product there, but not exactly with like the tampon or the pad product. It's more the plastics that we'll be working on eventually.
Thanks, Marwan. Swiss, Zoom user, the floor is yours.
This is Les Dawson from Swiss Precision. How are you? So nice to meet you. The platform is wonderful. Thank you so much. So this is right down our alley. We have created the world's first organic material that can eliminate the UTIs in 24 hours, 99.99%. That's patented and trademarked in Switzerland and also in US. So I would definitely like to partner with you because we can use the hemp fibers that you have with our embedded technology that kills those bacteria. So if everybody on this phone has heard of sepsis, our product kills those bacteria in 24 hours, 99.99% organically. So I would definitely like to speak with you because the major issues with these period panties and pads is still the bacteria. So even though you have hemp, which is wonderful, great from an organic perspective, you need to be able to protect our women and our young ladies. And we have the solution for you. And I definitely love to be able to partner with you. And now you're really going to kill the market. It's going to be awesome partnership.
Why don't you guys talk offline and then Marwan can invest because then you will have the tech piece. It'll be perfect.
Exactly. Yeah. Put
The
your
Swiss
information
way,
in the
baby.
chat.
Swiss way.
The way. I love it. If you could just wrap us up, we've got a lot of questions about your acquisition strategy, competitors in the space. I think that's a topic that was really big when we saw you speak the first time. I know that you have a great answer for that.
Yeah, I think with a lot of our competitors, like when we first started, our biggest competitor was the honeypot and they were acquired. I think there's a lot of opportunity also overseas for acquisition. I think, I haven't really seen that much innovation really in period care. And there's a lot of really cool companies that have had ideas and they haven't really come out. So I think the fact that Riff has actually found product market fit is great to acquirers. Also, one of our recent investors, which is Jumpstart Foundry, is a healthcare fund, and they've got some of those strategic, like eventual acquirers who are their LPs. So I think like we are thinking about the Johnson and Johnsons and the Kimberly Clarks, and even when we first started our brand, like Kimberly Clark was one of the first people to reach out and be like, congratulations, like this is something people have wanted to do for a while. So I don't think we would have started this brand like if we didn't think it could be innovative enough for eventually someone to want to take it worldwide. But there's still so much that we have to do to, in our product line to make that happen. But I think we can do it for sure.
Amazing. Valerie, well done. And Rebecca has been killing it in the chat with everyone as well. You've got a great team. Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. And last but certainly not least, we are back to AI and tech with Elm AI. Is Elm in the room?
Yep, I'm Isha.
There you are. Fantastic. Hello. Take it away.
Cool. I will share my screen. Cool. Is everyone able to see the deck? Cool. Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Isha and I'm the co-founder and chief AI officer at Elm AI. And at Elm, we're radically improving the sustainability and operational performance of supply chains. So currently, brands and companies are struggling with their manual supplier due diligence processes. These really entail like checking that each supplier meets their internal compliance standards, whether that's environmental, social, labor, or legal. And this process can cost them tens of millions of dollars. You might be wondering why it's so expensive. Well, firstly, it's extremely manual and very document heavy. So these companies are usually hiring a huge team to run and manage this process. And apart from it being so labor intensive, what's really concerning to them is the indirect costs. Regulations keep piling up week after week, which makes the process longer and longer. And say, for instance, it takes the company 2 weeks to do due diligence on a new supplier. This means that their product is late to market by 2 weeks. If it takes a month, then the product is late to the market by a month. And what's at stake is the potential disruption of their entire supply chains. So, for example, if one critical supplier has a compliance risk that goes unnoticed, and then this risk materializes, the company has to completely stop working with that supplier immediately, and this can freeze up their supply chain. So this has been a nightmare for a lot of companies. Let me quickly walk you through what the current process looks like. So every year, factories will send in tons of data to the brand. This includes hundreds of pages of documentation, and this can be social audit reports, environmental reports, health and safety reports as well. And when these documents arrive at the responsible sourcing or supplier due diligence department's desk, the team has to go through each compliance Sorry, I've been a little bit unwell, so my throat is rashing up. Just give me 1 second.
Take your time. There's a lot going around right now, so take a sip, take your time. It's been great.
Yep. So when these documents arrive at the responsible sourcing or supplier due diligence department's desk, the team has to go through each compliance metric one by one to evaluate how well each supplier meets these standards. So they also have to copy and paste all of this data into good old Excel sheets. And our customers really don't enjoy this part of the work. It's painstakingly manual. And from the company's perspective, the goal is to improve the supply chain, but when teams are spending all of their time just reading documents and doing all of this manual work, they're bogged down and don't actually have time to engage the suppliers and drive improvements. Now, with the power of AI, we're radically transforming these processes, which means no more spending 16 hours on manual reviews. So our customer will simply upload the document onto our platform, and within 15 minutes, our system flags all the risks, analyzes the business significance of these risks, and even recommends how to move forward. Companies have been using our platform to manage communication with suppliers as these suppliers work on the corrective action plans to become compliant and reduce risk. Within 9 months of launching, we've crossed $160,000 in ARR. And across our pilots and full-time contracts, we're working with 6 enterprise customers. Our initial niche market is the apparel and fashion market, and the clients we're working with are household names. Currently, we're working on scaling our product, and we're aiming to onboard more enterprise customers very, very soon who are currently on our wait list. In terms of our business model, we have a typical SaaS business model, and we charge companies based on the size of their supply chains. So that is the number of suppliers that they work with on an annual basis. For one of our contracts, for example, we signed for 160 suppliers at $70K per year. And the expectation is that as the customer onboards more suppliers each year, which would go up to 1,000 in year 4, then the revenue will expand to $250,000. I'll tell you a little bit about our team. We have 4 co-founders, and we met about 2.5 years ago at Cornell Tech when we were doing our masters. And our combination of skills and backgrounds positions us really well to tackle this market. I am the Chief AI Officer, and I have a background in large language model research and software engineering, along with experience developing sustainability software. Our CEO, Advait, was engineering lead at an early stage startup that raised $30 million. Our COO, Aprajita, is a second-time founder with extensive experience in strategy and marketing. And our Chief Product Officer, Ken, has both a strong technical background as well as real-life insights into supply chain challenges from his family's apparel manufacturing business. So together we have the expertise to tackle this enormous challenge. In terms of the market, the supply chain management market is very large, and any brand or company with over 90 suppliers is a target customer for us. And the reason that sourcing and supply chain teams have been so excited about our product is because we're delivering a truly magical experience, which is like a 10x improvement in document workflow efficiency in a traditionally manual and very paper-heavy industry. And by onboarding their entire supply chain data, which is really hard to do manually, we get exposure to several other adjacent workflows. So with some of our current customers, we've already been getting requests to expand our use case. Like our customers have been asking us to use AI to do environmental due diligence, to do traceability, as well as to do things like tracking risk versus spend across their suppliers. So our strategy really is to like land into the company's system, get all of their data onboarded, and then expand the use case. And like in the long term, we want to become the irreplaceable cross-functional system of record for their most valuable data, which is supplier performance as well as risk data. And since this industry is very document heavy, it's traditionally been served by consulting firms who do all of this manually with large operations teams. But with the current wave of AI and LLMs, it's actually a perfect use of the technology to productize a service industry and bring in lots of workflow improvements, both in terms of efficiency as well as cost saving. And yeah, I'll end by just giving an overview of where we are in our fundraise. We actually just closed our pre-seed round, like officially, but we have about 75K in angel allocation available. So I would love to chat more if you're interested in investing. And in terms of other asks, we're currently working on rapidly scaling our product and onboarding more customers. And we're seeking introductions to supply chain or responsible sourcing leaders in various industries like fashion, food and beverage, as well as electronics. And yeah, with the round coming to a close, we're back to heads down building and shipping, and we're working towards rapidly scaling our core product. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. If you could unshare the screen, please. I'm so glad that you were able to get through that, and I hope that you feel better. That's what you built is so incredibly impressive. Again, I think you guys have all seen the fluctuation between doing something consumer and then a deep AI conversation. Any questions in the room? I know it's the last one. Last one, guys. Come on with questions. This is such an interesting pitch, in my opinion. I've got a ton of them. Mark, kick us off per usual.
I was going to be quiet for a minute, but anyway. So the slide went by pretty quickly. What is your target size companies that you're going after and the market size that you see for that company? First of all, I think presentation was good. I think the product seems good and on point and useful for the right size company. And it went by quickly for me to see. So can you state that, please?
Yeah, sure. So as I said, we're going after any company that has like a supply chain with 90 or more suppliers, roughly. This is the size which makes it like complex enough for them, where there's a lot of different data to manage, a lot of different things to keep track of. But in terms of like sizing, we view our customers as like 3 different tiers. One is like smaller companies, which would be willing to spend around 30 to 50K per year on something like this. The second is medium sized, where anything above like 200 suppliers would qualify. And with these, we see like slightly larger contracts in the 100 to 150K range. And then, of course, there's huge companies like the Nikes and Targets of the world that currently we're not working with any of that sized company, but that is the goal long term.
And then just a follow-up question. Do you do anything, I'll say that's more specific for, let's say, the requirements in the healthcare space for medical device suppliers and med tech and just the different regulatory environment? So do you have, is it all generic for everything, or is there some extra features available for those markets?
There's definitely like some features that will be customized. We are currently mostly contained to like the apparel market, so our product has mostly adapted to that. We're working with like different types of standards that companies commonly use as SLCP, RBA, a few others. So as we expand to other industries, there'll definitely be standards that we adhere to and other features that we build that are more specific to the industry to make sure that we cover all the bases.
And when do you have plans for that expansion to other industries?
We do. We are currently planning to expand to the electronic space since we've been seeing a lot of demand and through our customer discovery, seeing that there's a need for something like this in that industry. So we're going slow one by one. Also with the apparel space, things, regulations, and just brand image is so much, it's such a big thing for companies that they're feeling the urgency to make sure they're complying with everything and disclosing that to their audience as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. We had a question in the chat. Is Elm selling to government and public sector? Sounds like mostly retail currently.
Yeah, currently we're not, but definitely open to that as well.
Yeah, it sounds like it's on the roadmap. Tammy, did I see you unmute at 1 second? Nope, just kidding. Can you talk a little bit more about the regulatory traceability piece? I think that was really important for a lot of the consumer brands, and there's a lot of regulation that we know is coming down from the government. I don't know if that's going to shift or not with the current administration, but if you could just dig in a little there, please.
Yeah, so the traceability piece is actually something we're working on developing right now. One of our current customers, they use us for all of their supplier management and audit due diligence. They are interested in the traceability, so we're working on developing the product with them. And basically, this entails using AI to match up a lot of the PO data with the spend data and other things so that they can track from the very origin, where the product originated from, all the different suppliers and places it hit, and then where it is in its final form. So it is a piece that we're working on developing, and as soon as this pilot finishes, we'll probably be launching a product for traceability specifically.
Great. Any other questions in the room? Otherwise, I'll keep going. I know it's the last few minutes. So you had mentioned that your ARR already is really impressive for such a young company. You mentioned that you had a couple of really big brands, including some public brands. Are you under NDA or you're under NDA, so you can't speak to what
we are.
Yeah, okay. From a marketing perspective, there's so much power in that imagery. So I was hoping that you could add that to the deck, but it sounds like that's not on the not possible. I love what you were talking about in terms of building this magical experience, because this is such a dry industry typically, and it's so deeply technical. I would like to see a little bit more of that language and how a end user takes advantage of that. More of the creative pieces, because it is a really creative product, I think. We got another question in the chat. What is Elm's current valuation, and how much did you raise in the pre-seed?
Yeah, so our current valuation is 7 million, and we raised 1.6 million during our pre-seed. So we actually just closed the round officially, and now we're just rounding up the smaller checks and angels to properly bring the round to a close.
So incredibly impressive. I don't know about most of you in the room, but I know I wasn't learning LLMs and anything really technical in college. So I'm so impressed with what you've built. I don't really have any more questions on my end. Any other questions in the room?
I would just say that one thing I really liked about your presentation is that you ended with asking for introductions. Everyone should be always asking. It can't hurt. So I really appreciated that. I also think, I like that you close the round and you're asking for 75K. There, it kind of gives FOMO. So I think that's kind of fun. And I think though, if I were to advise you on that, I would try to find angels that would add value, maybe that they have introductions, etc. Then maybe you just won't take any angel check that comes in, and be really, really specific about who you bring on board at this point, because you've done so well.
Yeah, great point. And then how much runway do you have with that 1.5?
So as a team, we are pretty lean and efficient with capital. So I think around 2 years. But of course, if we start scaling a little bit faster and need to hire more people, that might shorten it a little bit. But yeah, we're going for about like 20 to 24 months, and then that should set us up for like enough revenue to have like either a really strong seed round or a Series A, hopefully.
Amazing. Stephanie Fowler asks, what's your minimum check size for angels, and which angel groups are you looking to connect with? We have a little bit of a nibble. That's exciting.
So I don't think we've set a minimum check size, probably around 5K. I would have to double check. I don't think we've set it officially yet. And we have been like, we have raised through like AngelList, and there are in general like strategic angels, a couple of strategic angels that have already invested in us. So yeah, we are definitely looking to talk, and if you have any interest, feel free to reach out and we can set up a time to chat.
Incredible. Well, that concludes our pitches for the day. Thank you to everyone who participated. I'm just going to go ahead and share the scan for the next virtual pitch event, which will be May 14th. I can't believe we're already almost through the first quarter. Where does the time go? January was like the longest month in history, and now we're like at the end of the year. It's absolutely wild. So get out your phones, scan, and please RSVP. We had great attendance. I want to give a lot of props to my team, specifically Gigi, who set the whole thing up, does all of the management and scheduling. So thank you. And thank you to everyone who showed up and gave feedback, asked really great questions. We couldn't do this without each and every one of you. So together we will weave the fabric of the future. Thank you so much for showing up, and have a fabulous evening. We'll talk soon. Bye.